everybody, it's Amy, also known as Aussie Stitcher in Texas, here on Flosstube and over on Instagram. I'm here with you today on Saturday, November 1st with my October stitching update. This is everything that I stitched on in the month of October. I want to say a big thank you to all of my returning viewers and subscribers. Thank you so much for coming back. And if you are new here, I hope you enjoy what you see. So for the month of October, I worked on a whopping 11 projects. I had one fully finished object, which is an old one that I finally fully finished. One was a start and a finish, and then two finishes just from my whip pile. So I've got two off my pile now. And that was, I don't know what happened. My needle was on fire this month. I stitched 21,046 stitches. I stitched basically every day except for yesterday because it was Halloween. I went out to a friend's house to help hand out candy, so I didn't have any time yesterday to stitch. But I stitched pretty much every day. I did have a couple of days off in the month to give myself some long weekends, so I think that definitely helped. But otherwise, I don't really know what happened. I just, at some point, I looked at my stitch count and was like, wow, that's really high. And I still had like 10 days in the month. So I went back and worked on a couple of other projects rather than working on new ones. I'm sorry if you can hear clicking. It's the time of the year where the pipes click whenever somebody showers in my building. So the joyful times. So yeah, 21,000 stitches, the most I've ever done. I don't expect to ever be able to do that number again. Honestly, I really don't know what happened this month with everything I did. I guess I was just, like I said, my needle was on fire, and I do think I worked on a lot of projects that were very blocky, so that definitely helps get higher stitch counts if you're not working on confetti and stuff like that. But 11 projects, 3 finishes, one fully finished object, but let's jump right into it. So first off, let's start with my fully finished object. So this is something I finished, I don't know if it was a year or two ago at this point. It is my Faces of Faery 201 by Jasmine Beckett Griffith, also known as the Black Swan. I stitched this on a 32 count even weave using all the called for colors. I did use, I tried Anchor Black on this just to see what it was like. And here it is. It is not, do not look too closely at the framing job, and sorry for the glare. You can see my kitchen that I need to tidy. But I just put this in a frame. It's not the best frame job in the world, so like I said, don't look too close. It warped a little bit, so every time I thought I was straight, I would then not be straight. So I'm hoping that just with time, it starts to settle a bit more. I just picked these frames up on Amazon. I got 2, they're 11 by 11, because it's just shy of 11. It's like 10.94 or something like that. 175 by 175, but yeah. All finished, and kind of impressed with myself, if I do say so. Like I said, not a perfect framing job, but you know what? It works for me, and I'm happy with it. So that's all that matters at the end of the day. But next up, let's look at my finishes. First off, let's actually do my start and finish. So I did this, I wanted to work, it being October, I wanted to work on a Halloween piece, and I have been eyeing, well, I haven't been eyeing, but I've had in my stash for a little bit, the drawn thread, a couple of the drawn thread pieces, like Welcome Christmas, Welcome Spring, and all of that, and then I had an almost Halloween. So I was like, okay, I'll work on that. So I did this on a 40 count, so it's very little, verdal in the color Gingerbread, using really none of the called for. So the black is black, that's what was called for. And then all the other colors were fancy floss that I just subbed out using what I had in stash. And then the other thing I did is there are a couple of specialty stitches in here, but because it's a 40 count, they just didn't come up. So one of them is one of these. That's supposed to be a Smyrna cross, I think. And I was like, that's not showing up. So I just did X's. The eyes of the cat were supposed to be a specialty stitch of some kind. Sorry, not the eyes, the collar. The collar of the cat was supposed to be something, and then I didn't do it. And then the spiders were supposed to be buttons, but I just used cross stitches for those. So I had put this in charting software to fully chart it out, and I just replaced those. And I'm actually quite proud of that. I mean, granted, it's not like I did much. And then these are, I can't remember, but the wings of the bats are specialty stitches as well. And one is better than the other. The bottom bat, which was like the second one I did a much better job than that one. But still very proud of myself. My first time at doing specialty stitches. She's so small. If I knew how to do a pillow, that's how I will finish this. But I don't have a sewing machine or anything, so I don't know if that's actually possible to do a pillow finish, but that's what I would do if I have the skills. But otherwise it's just gonna go hanging up. All my finishes are on trouser hangers, and that's where it's gonna go until I find the motivation to actually finish that. So next up, one of my finishes is Cabin in the Woods by Flossabilities. Here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I stitched this on a 32 count charcoal even weave that I picked up from 123 Stitch. And here is the finished product. Oh, there we go. Look at it. So this is one, I've already bought a frame for it. It's an 11 by 14 or something. No, 8 by 14, I think, is what I got. Just again from Amazon, that I'll hopefully try to fully finish this month. I do need to go out to the craft store and get some foam board to like put it on. But look how, I'll get you in up close and personal. Those stars and that border were probably the biggest bugbear, just because they're, you know, fiddly. But the rest of it was an absolute joy to work on. And for anyone who struggles to work on darker fabrics, what I do is I have an old light board that I don't turn on, but it's white, and it's a very kind of stark white that I just put on my lap when I stitch. So that helps with the being able to see the holes a little bit better. I also do have really good overhead lighting. I've got a lamp that's like actually 3 that hangs down, so it's the way it's kind of positioned, because it's not just 1, it's 3. It just, I think, helps disperse the light a little bit more, which makes it very easy for me to stitch on higher counts and whatnot, even at night, because that's such a good overhead light. Next up for a finish. So my third and final finish for the month is Hyperborea by Owl Forest Embroidery. Here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I did this on using all the kit materials from Owl Forest. It's a 32 count Murano in a blue color. I don't know if they actually had a name for it. And it is using their threads as well, which are variegated. And here is the finished piece. Gotta really lean back. So, all done. So I'll get in close now. So like I said, using the Owl Forest, and I did have of every color quite a decent amount left. And for the main like blue and white that you can see for like the owl and the lynx and the polar bears, I actually had a full skein of that left that I didn't even touch. But really pretty. Not sure what I'll do with this. I mean, that's like every project. I just like to stitch. I just like to stitch. But that is finitoed. Another one down. So I'm now down to, I think, 14 whips with these 2 technically knocked out, because the other one was a start and finish. So didn't really make it into the whip count. I did that over a weekend. Now let's jump into just what I worked on for the month, for the rest of it. First off will be the whip go calls for last month were number 6 and number 17. For me, number 6 was Quaker Pumpkins, which I had already finished. So that was a freebie win for me. And then the next was my Night Bee by Vlada X Stitch, to work on that for 1,000 stitches, which I did. So here's what it will look like when it's finished. Forgive the like paper, it's just a printout that has seen better days at this point. Here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I am doing this on an 18 count Ada that I just picked up from one of the craft stores using all the called for colors. And here's where we got to. So I came down, brought in now more of these blues, and now I really just have this section. I've only got about 1,000 stitches left to do. which I would have, was one I considered bringing out again for the month when I was like looking for things to stitch. But I am hopefully going away for Thanksgiving if the situation here in the US with airports and whatnot is okay. I will be going away for Thanksgiving, and this is a good travel piece because it's 18 count, very easy to see. So I wanted to keep it for that. And let's hope I can actually go away for Thanksgiving and visit some family. Oh, I'm making a mess over here. And we clean as we go in this house when it comes to our pieces. Next up, again, because it was Halloween, I wanted to work on one of my Halloween pieces, and that is Witch's Hallow by Autumn Lane Stitchery. This is from one of their Halloween boxes a couple of years ago. I'm not sure if it's available yet to the general public, but because it is a couple of years old, it either should be or coming soon. But that is this, and for anybody wondering, it's not full coverage. All that orange is the fabric itself, so the fabric show through. So it's almost full, like, I mean, up there, that's pretty much full coverage. And then just, I mean, there's a lot of stitching, but the orange is show through from the fabric. I am doing this on a 32 count Lugana in the color Rubios by Under the Sea Fabrics. It was a fabric of the month from however long ago, and it was just like a perfect match, so I didn't have to buy anything. I would have thrown up what it looked like the last time that you saw it. Oh, that's backwards. I am doing this with CXC as well. So they're called 4 colors, but in CXC floss. And here's where I'm up to. So for this, I got 2,595 stitches. For the night B, I got 1,015. But so I came across in my first set. So I did like about 1,500 stitches over on this side, put it away for a little bit, and then when I brought it out, I worked my way down this side and also worked in some of the backstitch. And there is backstitch up here, but I had forgotten there was backstitch, so I'll probably just do the bits at the top at the end. And the rest I'll do as I go. So nice and block color, that does go by very fast, which helps, like I said, get stitch counts in. And the CXC floss is nice to work with. I do like working with, especially the black, because it's so thick and full coverage. But one thing I discovered is I'd run out of 823 for my alternative reality, so went to my stash to get more, and I had some, not that I would mix in something like a full coverage, but I had some 823 from CXC, and it is wildly different in color to a DMC 823. I don't know if that was my dye lot that I got, but it is, the CXC 823 is closer to a 336 than it is to 823. It's a much brighter blue. So bear that in mind when buying CXC. Like I said, I don't know if it was just a one-off for my dye lot. I know CXC is a ton cheaper than DMC. So no disrespect for anybody who wants CXC. Like I said, I do like using it, but just be aware of the potential color variations when you're buying. Because who knows if, like I said, if it was a one-off or if it's a consistent thing with CXC. Next up on my pile is my Long Dog sampler, You Belong to Me. Here's what it will look like when it's finished. I'm stitching this on a 40 count verdal in the color 3842 is the thread I'm using. The fabric is called Gold Rush, 40 count by BeStitchMe. Here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I worked on this. This is another one I worked on and then brought back out for 2,980 stitches. And here is where we're up to. So I came across over this side. I contemplated like working my way down to be able to get to the bottom, because I do like to be able to like visualize, but because this is so large, I wanted to kind of make sure I'm always keeping, working my way down and keeping just it right. So I'm gonna work on it kind of in this, so I'll probably come back next time, fill in more of like this, so I can just kind of continue to bring it down in like an even typewriter method type of thing. Because last thing I want to do is like get to the bottom and be like one stitch out and then have to be fudging things. But yeah. 3842 is that thread I'm using, just DMC. Okay, let's put you there, you there. Next up is by Forbidden Fiber Co. This is the Empyrean. It was a stitch along, I don't know how long ago, but it is all finished now. I purchased the kit from Forbidden Fiber Co. So I've got the kit materials, all the kit floss. It is on a 28 count Lugana in the color Feathertail. Here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. Now, please forgive the fabric I have sewn on here to be able to work on it, because the margins are next to non-existent, which, to be honest, drives me nuts a little bit. I should have, hindsight being what it is, I knew the margins were going to be non-existent. I should have done it 1/1 instead of 2/2, partly for the margins and partly because I don't love 28 count because the stitches are so big and it goes through so much floss. But that's just a me thing. There's plenty of people who love 28 count. But here is where we're up to. So I did 1,135 stitches on this. So I've come down basically everything from here. Yes. From the first set of words down is done. So I just need to bring this line across, a couple of more swords, and one more dragon with the corresponding lightning. And then we're done. But if you have not used Forbidden Fiber Co. stuff before, so her floss and her fabric, it's lovely. Like, her floss is great. The fabric is nice to work with. I have no bugbear about that. It's really just the margins. But the fabric itself is great to work on. I just like to have more margin. That's just a me thing. So that will be potentially a finish for the next month or so, because I think I've only got about 1,000 stitches left on that, or in the less than 2,000. Let's just say less than 2,000. And when I get to having less than 2,000 stitches, I know the next time I bring it out, that's going to be a finish, if life doesn't get in the way, obviously. So next up is my Faces of Faery 193. So the companion piece to that fully finished one I showed you earlier. This is my monthly work towards a finish, or however words have left me. So I work on this every month with the goal to finish it by the end of the year. This month, which was to work on it for about just shy of 1,600 stitches per month. This month I worked on it and then was like, I got 19 colors finished because I'm at that point where now I've got like ones and twosies left. And again, I did my roughly 1,600, put it away, and then was like, you know what? I was at the point, I saw how many stitches I had left. It was a little over 2,000. And I was like, let's work on this again for another day or two to get it below that 2,000 so that in November I can get this finished. And fully finishing the other one kind of gave me that motivation to be like, okay, let's get this finished in November. Get it fully finished in November. I have the frame ready. I have some foam board. So it's ready to go to be finished. So that's the goal for this month, is to finish this. Here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I ended up working on, where are you? 2,123 stitches. And I have like 1,700 and something to go. This is a 16 count easy grid, so it's still gonna be the same size as the other one at the end of the day. I just did it on Ada instead of evenweave. And here's where we're up to. So I just have these. So it's not even a full 10 by 10, the bottom one. So I just have to work my way across there. That is not like an error, that's just I've anchored the thread because I had nowhere to tuck it in when I finished. But she's almost done and will be finished this month. And I'm so happy with it. I'm always so amazed by the detail you get from these pieces that are just little X's, how this looks like it's really kind of shiny glass and the feathers look like they're really feathering. And I mean, they're a nightmare to do. It's so much confetti creates that, but it's worth it in the long run. yeah. So we are so pretty. So yeah, she'll be finished this month. That is definitely the goal. How many more have I got left? 1, 2, 3. Three more to go. Okay. Next up, I know it's not the season, but I wanted to work on it. It is Welcome to the North Pole by Primrose Cottage Stitches. I worked on this for 2,330 stitches. I'm stitching this on a 32 count Lugana in the color Desert Sand. It's an opalescent. Here's what it will look like. Here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I am stitching this using the DMC conversion, not the fancy floss. So they give you it's charted in a fancy floss, but they give you the conversion. So that's what I'm using. And here's what we're up to. So this section up here is all done. And then I'm working on the second band here. So it's a lot of red. But again, lots of blocks. So this went really fast. And what is going on there? Oh, no. And I did so there's back stitch here on the mouth. It's the only back stitch I've had to do so far. There's not a huge amount of back stitch in this, which is nice. A lot of B5200. So if you're contemplating doing this piece, do not do it on a white fabric because it's a lot of B5200. I think it's about 3,000 stitches or so of B5200. So you'll need a colored fabric for it. Otherwise those stitches will just be lost and wasted effort on your part. What's going on with my hair? It's like tucking into the back of my shirt. Okay. I'm a little bit like ADHD brain. Not that I have ADHD. Okay. Next up is, excuse me, my other Owl Forest embroidery. This is Star Dragon. So here's what it looked like when it's finished. This, I didn't purchase the kit or anything. I'm using stuff from Stash. So it is a 40 count verdal in the color something, Macchiato, by BeStitchMe. I am using the DMC conversion for all but the red. The red I'm using Raspberry by Weeks Dye Works, which I did end up buying another skein of because I'll need 2 skeins. I would have thrown up what it looked like last time you saw it. So I came down, so I now have, this is the full width, and then I'm working my way down. Originally, I knew the 1 skein I had of the Raspberry was not going to be enough, so I was contemplating like, we'll just do some of it. Do bits that you know definitely you'll finish, and then as you get down the bottom, just switch to a DMC. That's fine. But then I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And I had an order in for 1, 2, 3 stitch for some charts, and I was like, just throw the extra skein in there, and I did. So now I don't have to worry. I don't have to be crazy frugal with my floss. I'll have enough to do the whole piece. But coming together nicely. And I am doing this, so I got the PDF from Owl Forest, uploaded it to Pattern Keeper, and for whatever reason, it uploads so it's all together, it's one document, but each page, it counts those symbols individually. So, you know, if it's a square, it's gonna have that square 18 times if it's on all 18 pages. So I'm trying to work this page by page so I can zero out those each one to kind of just limit the amount of colors that I have, if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know why it does that. It just does. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't create problems or anything. It's just, for my brain, I'm like, okay, work page by page, zero out those colors, and then you get like mini finishes. You get that little dopamine hit of finishing something. So that's Owl Forest. And then finally is my Alternative Reality by Josephine Wall, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is another piece I work on each month with the hope of seeing it in a 5-year span. See it finished in a total of 5 years. So I work on it 2,000 stitches a month or a minimum of 25,000 stitches a year to be able to see that goal complete. Last year I was on track. I did 30-something thousand stitches. So far this year I've done like 23, so very much on track to hit my minimum 25. And then next year, and I'm at 50%, so this should be finished in 2027 if life continues as is. That allows me to stitch this much. here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I am stitching this on an 18 count Aida using all the called for DMC. I am stitching this typewriter, so I go across and I am parking and I am starting to not park, if that makes sense. So I do Royal Rose and park, but then I am starting to not park. So let me bring her back. So if you see in the section that I worked on last, which is down here, I have no parked threads. I just worked them in. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Barring any kind of crazy confetti, or if it's just having to be carried too far and I have nowhere to anchor it. That's what I'll do. I'm just gonna stop parking. I don't, you know, it serves a purpose. Do not get me wrong. It definitely serves a purpose, but I feel like I go faster when I'm not parking because I'm not just stopping for the sake of stopping. I'll finish that thread off, then move on to the next. And then I'm not coming back to rethread a thread later that I could have finished last month, you know, if that makes sense. I could be wrong. Maybe it isn't actually faster, but it feels faster. So I think that's what I'm going to do from now on. It may be in places like the dress where I don't, if that is great, because that's been a lot of confetti, but where I can avoid it, I'm going to. Where I can avoid parking, I'm going to avoid it. But yeah, we're over 50%. God, it looks good. Absolutely love that. Let's put you there. So that is everything that I worked on in October. 11 projects, 21,046 stitches. So for alternative reality, I did 2016. Did I say that on? Star Dragon was 2,107. I think I said the name for everyone else. Hyperborea to finish was 1,650. Cabin in the Woods to finish was 1,255. Almost Halloween was 1,840. So those are everything I stitched. Now, if you're just here for the stitching, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and come back next month. I do monthly updates. For those of you who want to stick around for haul and plans, I have minimal haul. I did put in an order to 123 Stitch because the new Bella Filipina, the Golden Voice, came out. So I picked that up. And I have already put that into charting software. So she is Pattern Keeper compatible now. I know Bella Filipina is starting to do some of their patterns digitally. I don't know if they're Pattern Keeper, but I know some of them you can buy digitally. These ones you can't for some reason. I don't know. I'm hoping eventually all designers start coming out with PDF versions. I know that doesn't always help LNSs, but for me, if it's a paper pattern, I do hesitate now to buy it because even though I can use charting software and just rechart it in, all for personal use, I don't pass these things along. It just makes my life easier to stitch. And some of them, if they're too large, I'm not recharting that, even though charting a Bella Filipina or a Mirabilia is not a short process, worth it in the long run for me. So for any designers who might be listening, if you're contemplating it, I fully understand why you don't. It makes them so much easier to be pirated at that point. So I fully respect why a lot of them don't, just for selfish reasons. I would love it if they did. So I'd be even willing to like buy the paper pattern and then pay a supplement to get it digitally. I'd be fine with that to support both an LNS and the designer fully. Happy with that. The other pattern I picked up was, I forgot, Greta Goldbroom, yes, by Bella Filipina. I haven't charted her yet, I will, so I can have her digitally as well. And then, like I said, I picked up the other skein of floss in the Weeks Dye Works Raspberry. And some Krynic. What's going on with Krynic at the moment? I can't, like, getting your hand on Krynic is like gold at this point. So hopefully that turns around, but I did get 2 spools of a color I needed for the Bella Filipina one. I can't remember what that's called, but the Beauty and the Beast version of Bella Filipina. There's a lot of the, like, it's a brownie colored Krynic in the archway. So they had that in stock, so I snatched that up because I am contemplating starting that one soon. Excuse me. Also, sorry if you can hear trucks beeping. They're building townhouses across the street, and they've been going since the wee hours of the morning, which has made me very angry. So that's my haul as far as plans go. The WIPGO numbers were number 22 and number 3. So number 22 for me is Cottage Garden Samplings for 1,000 stitches and Quaker Flag for 2,000 stitches. So I will get those done. I will finish my White Swan. I am contemplating doing that today, starting that today. And then my Alternative Reality for 2,000 stitches. I'm thinking of starting Winter Moon by Plum Street Samplers. I have that pretty much ready to go. A couple of colors I'm missing, but I can always go and pick up, or just the main colors I need to start, I can start. I am going to probably stitch that on a 32 count, not 32, a 36 count. I have a 36 count linen I got from when I was in the Fabric of the Month Club with Under the Sea Fabrics. It is a linen. I don't love linen, but it's a kind of dark, moody gray, which I think the colors will look really good on, especially like the white and the ecru. So I'm contemplating that, and I think I'm going to do that 2/2. I know a lot of people do 36 count 1/2, but I do 18 count 2/2, and isn't that 36 count equivalent? And I like the full lush coverage, and I also like the better or the deeper color saturation you get when you do 2 strands versus 1 strand. And I can do the loop start, which is always preferred for there. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm doing that in the DMC conversion. I'm not using the fancy floss there. And then for anyone who has seen that pattern, there's a giant bunny on the roof. I'm not doing that. I have charted that out. It's another one I put into charting software to get it Pattern Keeper compatible. I charted that out, and I just made the moon full, and there's nothing on the roof. I'm not one who will often change a pattern. I try to respect the work of the artist, but that bunny freaks me out a little bit. Like, I don't know why you need a gigantic bunny on the roof of a house. So I've just charted it out, made the moon full versus like the bunny being on top of it, and we'll just do that. And then what else will I work on? Nothing's coming to mind right now, so I'll just work on whatever I feel like. I may try to hopefully finish the bee if I'm traveling with that. I've got Empyreans close to a finish. There's some other things that I might have like knock out a couple of more finishes where I can, because December will not be a great stitchy month for me. I'm away for the majority of it in a place where I'm going back to Australia. And we're going on a cruise, so it's not really conducive to just sitting and stitching and then spending time with family and all of that good stuff. So it's not going to be a huge stitchy month. I'll probably just be able to really knock out my WIPGO and my Alternative Reality goals. That's another reason why I was kind of pushing to finish White Swan this month, because that's just one less thing I have to do in December. Then I don't have to try to cram everything in before I leave, because I leave pretty early in the month. Still time, I'll still be able to do my update though. And in that update, I think I'll go through my plans for 2026. I will still be doing WIPGO, but then I want to be able to kind of work out what I want for my work towards a finish piece. I do really like that working on a piece every month consistently to see the finish at the end of the year. So I'll reevaluate where all my pieces are in December, kind of break up what does that look like by 12, and then maybe put it out to a vote to people to see what I should work on to get that finish in 2026, shockingly, which is, I feel like we were just starting 2025. But that is everything for this video. Thank you so much, everybody, for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great month of November. It is cooling down here in Texas, which I'm not built for the cold, people. I'm really not. I don't enjoy the cold. And it always happens like the week after my birthday, Texas turns hard, or it feels like it turns really hard, and we go from, the like mid-20s in Celsius, so like your mid-70s and above, to like the 50s, and that's for me, that's very cold. Anything below 20, even 20, I'm cold in Celsius. So anything below that, I'm very cold. And we had a day the other day, you know, like days when you just can't get warm, like you've got the socks on, you've got the jacket on, you've got everything on, and you just can't get warm. That was me the other day until I finally put on, my aunt and uncle got me this, like one of those giant hoodie comfy things. I put that on and was sweet. It was phenomenal. I was very comfortable after that. Anyone else would probably have been dying. Because I'm not saying it was like -5. I'm talking it was like 18 degrees and I'm freezing to death. So this is very much a me problem. But stay warm, everybody, for those in the colder parts of the world. In the southern hemisphere where it's getting warmer, make sure you hydrate and wear sunscreen. Sunscreen is very important. And stay safe, everybody. Have a great month of November ahead. Thanks. Bye.